of scented soaps do you have in your house? Do you have a different one in every sink, or because I feel like there's plenty of holiday smells you could have for your soaps?
Well, I only have one bathroom now where I'm at, but there is a different scent in every room.
Okay.
There is a little baby tree with a different color scheme in every room.
Really?
Yes. And you have jingle bells just about everywhere. It's important, Julie.
Well, I understand. This is serious business.
It is. It is.
Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you, and I apologize. I need to go to rehearsal.
We have one final storyteller here tonight, and this is someone who's told a story in all of our holiday events, so I'm excited to have her come back up again. This is also somebody who is vitally important to this show actually getting to happen. Paula Nemes is our contact here at the library, and every year she's shared some kind of a holiday story with us, and this year she's breaking her tradition just a little bit. And instead of doing a reading of somebody else's work, she's actually going to be sharing a little bit of her life tonight. So I'm very excited to hear a story that Paula is going to call Holiday Travel. So please welcome forward Paula.
So I do need to put in a plug for something at the library coming up on the 21st, which is the solstice. We're going to celebrate the solstice here at the library. So if you have a story to tell, a song to sing, if you want to just come and have some refreshments to celebrate when the sun goes down on that night, and then the next day we get more daylight already. It's hard to believe that that's already happening. So on the 21st from 5 to 7, we just have a nice celebration. Now, I know many of us have these trouble of trying to decide which family's house you're going to go to for the holiday, on which day. Maybe it's the weekend before you go, maybe on Christmas Eve you go one place, maybe you go Christmas Day on the other place. In-laws, outlaws, it's always something. I knew a family where they had just one child, and because they just had the one child, and it was the only grandchild, they did have to go to both places, and both places were many hours drive away. They never had a tree in their house. They had a little tree stuck on their dash of their car. So they took Christmas with them. Well, in my family, by the time I had children, my parents were old enough that they really didn't want to host anymore. And so my sister, who was 5 years older, and my brother, who was 5 years younger, decided where we were going to have Christmas. Now, I will point out that I have lived in Marshall since 1987. I think my family has been out to Marshall twice. It's too far. It's in the middle of nowhere. Why don't you come to our house? It'll be so much easier. Right, so much easier. I don't understand. I have to travel 4 hours to your place. That's easier than you traveling 4 hours to my place. There's something about it. And I will not say that I resent my younger brother, the favorite, the only boy, the precious one, who has the beautiful house with the cathedral ceiling, the 12-foot Christmas tree, the wife who never had any baby burp on her shoulder, very well made up, and perfect children, very girly girls. I don't resent that at all. It's very kind of them to welcome us to their house. They live sort of over near Monticello. Now, if you envision the map of Minnesota in your mind, there is no direct road to Monticello. Okay, so you go to Minneapolis and go up 94 and get off on, and they're not in Monticello, they're out in the country on their acreage. Or you can go up to 212, over to Hutchinson, up through there, and then go across and go across, right? And go that way. Or you can go, as we sometimes did, up 23 to St. Cloud, and then down 94, because that was kind of a more direct route. However it was. In 1990, when we went for Christmas, my son had been born in April, and my daughter was 3 years old. So I had 2 little kids in our VW Rabbit. And we set out, and we went 4 hours it takes, because you have to stop with little kids. Got there, had a wonderful dinner, the kids got their little gifts, we visited, and then it was time to come home because we didn't stay overnight. We drove, celebrate, drive back. This year in 1990, I think it got to about 20 below. We had a diesel engine. Now, for those of you who know what happens with diesel engines, there are 2 kinds of fuel. There's number 1 and number 2. Number 1 is the winter fuel, and number 2 is the summer fuel. We had number 2. We had summer fuel in our diesel. I'm not sure how that happened. We're usually very good about watching when they switch over. It could have been that perhaps the station hadn't switched over. It was nice, and then it got cold. Whatever. So we are leaving Monticello around 6, 7 o'clock at night. 94. Gee, all of a sudden the car doesn't want to go. We fortunately got to a rest area and pulled over, stopped because the fuel line was frozen up. Diesel fuel, if it's not the right kind, turns into jello. The kind that kind of, you know, not jiggler yet, but almost. So my husband Steve was trying vainly to figure out if he could do anything, and the kids and I were sitting in the rest area on the floor waiting for something to happen on Christmas Eve because there's nothing open. He didn't have any luck. Fortunately, we found a tow truck who would come out on Christmas Eve. They towed our car to the shop and put it inside because once it warmed up, then we would be able to drain all of the diesel fuel out of the car and then replace it with the proper diesel fuel. I'm very grateful that I have wonderful children who like to travel. Even at that young age, they were perfectly fine, and we got to get back into our now properly fueled engine and drive back to Marshall. We did this several times, but we did not have to deal with diesel fuel. So that is the story of our Christmas on diesel.